We'll be making a ball bearing maze. As you can see here, we've got a little pattern and a little ball bearing. The ball bearing we will be using will be a 5mm. So we got to make sure all of our dimensions allow for this 5mm ball to travel through the maze. That means we've got to be specific with the hallway size. We want them to be consistent, okay? And we want our wall size to be consistent as well. So we're going to use what is called variables. So let's head up and create, actually you're going to click on the maze document. I'm going to create a new document. Alright, first thing is we're going to create a new sketch. That is Shift S on the keyboard. Click our plane, click N to view normal. We're going to make a rectangle. I'm going to do a corner rectangle, so I'm going to hit the G key. Again, that's up here. Corner rectangle tells you the shortcuts. I'm going to snap it to there. Our total is going to be 65.44. Very specific measurements so that hopefully we get a consistent amount of space on the inside when we put our walls and our hallways in there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move these out. I'm going to go ahead and extrude this, so I can go here or I can hit Shift E. It's going to select that for me. Our height is going to be 7.62. Okay. We're going to extrude that, so we now have a little box. We're now going to add a shell. Hit the shell, click on our face here, and we want the shell thickness to be 1.22 millimeters. Okay, so that 1.22, that's actually going to be the same as our wall thickness. I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. Okay, so let's create a new sketch inside here. And from this point, hit in. We're going to zoom in a little bit. From this point, we're just going to start drawing walls. So I'm going to get that corner rectangle tool again. And I'm just going to start drawing walls. I'm not worried about dimensioning them just yet. So I will draw a wall there. Draw a wall there. Let's maybe put a wall here. Another wall over here. We can always come back and clean this up. I'm just going to start to kind of lay out the general idea of my maze. Alright, that should be enough for now. I can always come back and add more or delete. So what we're going to do now is we're going to dimension. Some of these you'll see are a little thinner than others. So let's go ahead and grab our dimension tool. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the wall thickness. So I'm going to click on these two vertical lines. I'll bring this up here. And then I'm going to type in Shift 3 or hashtag or number sign. So we're going to create a new variable and we're going to call this wall thickness. And we're going to hit enter. And it's going to bring up a little menu option over here. Our wall thickness is going to be 1.22 millimeters. That is a length. Okay. And select OK. And then hit enter. So that automatically changed that wall thickness there to 1.22. So now, if I still have my dimension tool, I can click on any of these, type in hashtag, and wall thickness pops up, hit enter, and it will now do all of those for me. So go ahead and dimension all of your wall thicknesses. Okay, now that you've got everything dimensioned as far as the thicknesses, now we need to worry about the negative space, the hallways here. So we will grab our dimension tool, click on this wall, and now we're going to go hashtag and type in hallway. That's going to give us a new variable, and this variable for the hallway is going to be 5.08. That'll give us enough room for the 5mm ball bearing and then just a little bit of wiggle room on either side. So we're going to go 5.08. And now from here, we need to dimension all of our hallways. So I'm going to select anywhere where the ball is going to travel and type in hallway, and it will automatically adjust those. Looks like I'm going to have an issue up here because I've got some sort of constraint between those two. It doesn't like that, so I'm going to click on this and delete this one and delete this constraint. Just delete some of these constraints until, oh, it's this point here. Just got to keep deleting the constraints until you find the one that is causing the problems. The other thing you can do is when you draw your walls, go ahead and there was a parallel. This bottom line was attached to this top line, so therefore it couldn't get the right distance there. So now that I have that, all that is good. We can, looks like I might have deleted a line here. Let me just put this back real quick. Oh, I didn't delete it, it's just up there. There we go. Okay, so sometimes you got to go in and you got to figure out how to make things better. Oops. Okay, so now I'm going to continue dimensioning my hallways. So this is obviously a lot more space, so I have two options. I can dimension here to here, or I can add more items. So once you start getting your hallways, you'll see how much room you have for other elements. Okay, so now that I've got everything dimensioned here, you've got your pathway coming down. These little light lines, those are just your dimension lines, so you can kind of ignore those. But you can see that you've got more room for some other elements. So I could come back in here and I could draw some more items, and then go back and dimension those as well. Now, I don't actually like this rectangle sticking off here, so I'm going to grab this and go away. There we go. Grab that and put that up there. So again, come in, keep adding until you've got a lot of stuff filled up, and then you would go back and you would dimension. I would start with your wall thickness. So everything that doesn't have a wall thickness. So with all these dimensions, it does kind of get a little crazy, but you just kind of look around, make sure everything is dimensioned as it needs to be. Then I would go back and dimension my hallway. I do need to make sure that this space between here and here is also that correct amount. And for the maze to be its absolute best, we would fill up as much as we possibly can so there's not a lot of wiggle room for that ball, and it can only go one way. So that messed some stuff up. I'm going to undo that. I'm just going to add another rectangle on there because I got a lot of open space here. So again, I would keep going and I would fill in all of those spots. But for right now, for the tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and extrude this. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude sketch 2. And that height, it's not going to be at height, it's actually going to be up to face. And we're going to click on this outside edge. So from there, you should have what's looking like a maze. So this will be the end of part 1 on the tutorial. You'll need to continue with your walls and get as much of this filled in as possible so that there is no more than 2 millimeters. Sorry, not 2 millimeters. That the hallway is no more than 5.08. Okay, so you'll need to move these up so that everything is that exact hallway thickness. Okay, there shouldn't be any extra space. There should only be one path for the ball. It shouldn't just be able to roll around. So you're going to have to fill in a lot of walls. Make sure you set your variables. 1.22 for your wall thickness, a hallway of 5.08. And then in video 2, I'll show you how to add the holes for the ball, and then also the outside shell for the plexiglass to sit on. Good luck.